There's this daily invitation into intimacy with Jesus. He says, follow me. Man, it is really hard, guys and gals. Really hard. Because if I truly say yes to that invitation, then stuff has to change. Following Jesus comes at a cost, right? Not a cost financially, maybe, but a cost of things that I have to sacrifice. I get to sacrifice. When I don't follow Christ throughout my day, then I don't recognize the fear as quickly or at all. I don't recognize the pride. I don't recognize the self-righteousness. In relationship with Jesus, as a believer following Christ, when I say it's hard, it's because it's unnatural to me to constantly want to look at the things in me that need to change. And Jesus, through the Holy Spirit, really, it's about sanctification, right? What is sanctification? Sanctification is the process by which, when I enter into that relationship with Jesus, and guys, like, obviously God can do whatever he wants whenever, and sometimes I get pulled into that, right? Because of my stubbornness or whatever, it's not always me choosing, right? God can do anything, anytime, anywhere, full stop. That being said, I think he loves the intimacy that comes from us going, okay, man, I'm not going to run on self today. God, would you help me, Jesus? Like, recognize, what is Nathaniel talking about? What is sanctification? Like, am I a Sunday church Bible app twice a week guy that is missing this invitation into intimacy, to following Jesus, into the sanctification, the fine-tuning, the chiseling of my rough edges, the offering of myself to be used for the kingdom, to bear fruit, to bring glory to the creator of creation. Okay? I'm a guy today that wants to do that. And I didn't choose that. God rescued me. Quite literally from wanting to kill myself back in 2015. Suicide had never been part of my story, but out of nowhere, seemingly nowhere, but not nowhere, I'd been addicted to drugs and alcohol for the better part of 15 years. And was unwilling in that 15-year period to believe in God. I was shown God as a young man by some unhealthy people that weren't trying to be hurtful to me, but what I saw, what was reflected in these individuals and those that they followed on television. I'm born in the late 70s, so I grew up as a kid around TV evangelism in the 80s, and my grandmother specifically followed Jim and Tammy Faye Baker, and I just, that whole world to me as a young man flipped everything upside down. I guess I should say before that happened, my mom left when I was really young. I was molested a couple times by a neighbor of my father's. I never told anyone that until I got sober over a decade ago. It was the first time I opened up about that. I didn't tell anyone back then because I was scared my dad might kill the man. My dad raised me by himself, and he died when I was 15. My grandmother, my dad's mom, came in to take over at that point, and she was a believer in Jesus, but she came to faith through, that TV evangelist movement, Jim and Tammy Faye Baker, and I believe my grandmother's faith was real, and she believed in Jesus, and she just was learning from some unhealthy folks that that I would then see as a kid, as a 15-year-old boy who had all this tragedy that I never dealt with. I never thought my mom leaving when I was young was a big deal. I would later in life find out it was a very big deal to me, and the insecurity and the messaging that started to formulate as a young man, that abandonment, woundedness, something's wrong with you, you're not enough kind of thing. And then you enter in the molestation. And then my father, from being molested, which was about 5 or 6 years old, to when he died, I just remember being like super insecure. My dad loved me and loved me well, but I never talked about any of that stuff from way back when, and especially when he died. All that being said, so there's a lot to unpack there. We'll unpack on the channel. I love to talk about it and share about it. I have